We are live. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. And yes, we know it's only 2 minutes to 12. However, we thought we would just, give you a reason to fall off your chair on a Monday because we're early. Also, we know as soon as we go live that it starts sending the notifications to people's devices saying Happy Paper People is live so that they can jump in and join us right now. So that gives a couple minutes for people to be able to get in, get set up, and participate with us. So I'm Marianne, happy to be here with you with Happy Paper People with our Monday Jumpstart. We love Mondays. Let's see here. Sarah, who's on my left, maybe she's on your left as well. Sarah, give a little wave in the camera. I invited Sarah to be here today to talk with us about folios. And then DM is up in the corner.
My hand is about a minute behind.
Oh, no, for us it was right. On YouTube it's way behind.
Yeah. Yes.
And then up in the other corner is Miss Sylvia. And Sylvia and DM, I asked them to be here to see if the three of us could follow instructions and make a folio as Sarah teaches us. So hang on just a moment. DM, I'm going to send a quick private message. Just thought you might want to. Oh, you might have already.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. You're good. Okay.
I was leaning forward to grab something. I just won't be.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was it or need adjustment on camera. So, all right. So, Margie. Hi, Margie. Hello. Happy Monday. Always happy to see Margie in first. No, because we miss Margie and we love Margie. And it's nice to know that she's anxious to see us too. So, hi, Glennis. Hope you're feeling a little bit better, Glennis.
Good to see Glennis, I hope you're feeling good.
Hiya, Margie. Hiya. That sounds like hiya, Laronic. Anybody else hate that commercial?
No. I don't know it. I don't watch commercials anymore.
We miss you too, Margie. I miss you too. I almost picked up the phone and just called you the other day, Margie, just to talk with you because it's been a while and I really do miss you. And there's Miss Rhonda. Hi, Rhonda. We love the summer because
Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda.
Our teachers are off in the summer, and we love when our teachers can be here during the day because they don't very often get to be with us. So we are so happy to have Rhonda here. And I know Rhonda's in the middle of moving her craft room from upstairs to downstairs. And we all know what a huge job that is. So glad you took a few minutes out, Rhonda, to join us today. Have some fun, make a folio. And then
congratulations.
We know you can get back to work and we'll support you on that as well. So I'm going to go straight to Sarah here and put her on full screen. Sarah is a folio making maniac. That just came out, so I hope that sounded good because that's a positive. Sarah makes lots and lots of folios, and I'm going to ask her some questions, maybe put her on the spot here a bit, and because every time I turn around, Sarah's making another folio, and they're fantastic. Great ideas. They're different sizes. They do different things. So, Sarah, talk to us just a bit here and tell us, how did you get started making folios and how did that become a thing that you're always whipping out another folio almost every day? Folio.
Yeah. Well, because of personal reasons, I can't concentrate on a lot of long-term items, making them. And so I found folios and I thought, wow, I can do this and I can give them away as gifts and somebody will get the benefit of it, but because I'm not doing anything with them. So
okay. Yeah. You know what? I had never even thought about that. And that is such a fantastic suggestion for others. We all have different times in life where we have other things that are occupying our mind or weighing on us or taking of our time. and we don't have time to get into a big journal, or we can't focus on a great big journal or a great big project, that's a really awesome way to turn that around to your advantage, Sarah. Thank you for that. So those are perfect times to make small, short projects that will come out with something beautiful that is useful. And so you can feel productive and that you've made something, and also be creative, but not get so deeply involved in something that it's going to take you a month to make it. So thank you for that. That just gave me kind of a little different perspective on when and how to turn to a folio instead of a journal.
Yeah.
So would you mind showing us maybe 4, 5, 6 folios that you've made?
Oh, yeah.
She's got an entire box of folios. So if you can pull out just a few and maybe just share them with us, open them up and kind of show, because they're all different. Everyone is different. Oh, underwater theme.
So this one just...
Mermaid. I hear Margie going, ooh, mermaid.
Yeah. And
cute.
This has waterfall pockets. They're not really pockets. I just made them as something that you could journal on in the back.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to use it for photos, they could attach a photo to every waterfall. If they wanted to use it for journaling, they could journal on the back of each one. That is really pretty. Waterfall, very apropos for a water themed folio. I like that. That's gorgeous.
This is the back.
With
a little pocket on the back.
Okay.
I don't envision these ever being actually glued into a journal. They'd be more of like an addition to a journal as a gift. That if you wanted to send ephemera for them that's related to their journal, they could make a folio and put it in the ephemera in it, and that way the person that receives
great
it
idea. Yeah, Rhonda says that is stunning, and she is right. Don't know about you guys, but I definitely have ADD, so I can relate on needing to do smaller projects. Yes. Okay, Margie says define a folio, please. I know that she knows, and she's knowing that, and I forgot that there are, it took me a long time to understand what is a folio and what is a book or a journal. What is the difference? And when I finally understood it, and I do realize that a lot of people getting started are probably wondering the same thing. Thank you, Margie. A book or a journal has pages that turn. So anything that has pages that turn like this is a book or a journal. Okay. A folio, while it might have something that turns like that, like the waterfall kind of turns like pages, but it does not have those implanted pages or that turn like a book or a journal. A folio has things that fold. They might fold over the top of each other, but there's things that fold. Some people call them flaps or flips, but it folds together and they overlap each other typically, because if they don't overlap, then they're going to be in line to be pages. So that's a basic definition of a folio versus a journal or a book. Does that make sense to everybody? Was that explained sufficiently? Any questions on that?
You said it a lot better than I could.
Any questions on that? Just speak up. All right, Sarah, I'm going to go back full screen to you if you can grab another one. There you go.
Okay, so this is stormy weather one.
Ooh, I like that.
And this one I will probably keep, because a lot of the sayings that I put in here really pretty much reflect what my life is.
And that mean a lot to you at that time in your life.
Yeah. So then I just gorgeous. This opens up, and my tape glue is failing, so I'm gonna have to re-stick these. But I I put pockets everywhere, but I tried to make the pockets kind of go with the scenery, like it's showing, like it's, I don't know if I could explain it, but I was trying to make it look like it followed a page.
Uh-huh. It does look that way, and I like it a lot. That's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Christy. So glad to have you here. Yeah, love
Hi,
the colors
Christy.
on that, Margie says. That is really pretty. I love the storms, and I love how you got all those very cool, strong animals in there in the storms.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, yep, that's that one.
Okay. So there's two already, and you see how different each one of them is. Continuous page pockets. Yeah. Waterfalls are going to flip up, but you can have pages that kind of or pockets that kind of waterfall, and they don't flip up. So the thing is just to let your mind open up to, you see this, how could you convert it to something else too? Because as you notice, every single one of Sarah's folios, are you grabbing another one, Sarah?
Yeah.
Every single one of her folios are different. And you can see how you take one idea and evolve it to the next and evolve it to the next. Okay, so here's a third one from Sarah.
So this one is one,
Ooh.
it's a 5 envelope folio that I followed Marianne's tutorial for it. And so I didn't do it exactly right, but I thought it turned out okay.
That's okay. And it's the kind, folios are the kind of thing that even if you glue something differently, you can always make it work. So
And
we'll
this is
grab
a
the
pocket,
link.
but it's not. Oh, there it is.
We'll grab the link to that one and we'll put it in the description box.
Yeah.
So that it will be there.
I was uncomfortable with the black and white theme. I'd never done it before, and this was my first time of doing it. So
wow,
yeah.
I'm impressed if that's your first time doing it. I love black and white, and I find that very just stunning. And I think you did a fantastic job with the black and white, especially if that's your first time.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it turned out pretty good.
It did. Okay, so there's one using all envelopes as the base, and she just covered them with paper. As Margie says, there is no right or wrong. That's the beauty of a folio. Well, journals, junk journals are the same. But a folio, there's no right or wrong. If you glued this on this side and you meant to glue it on that side, oh, well, now it opens this way. Want to grab one more?
Exactly.
Do you have another one or two that you want to show?
Sure. This one, it closes like this.
Ooh, cool closure.
And it's, I just like the tones of this paper.
Sepia tone
really,
of a lot of that. Ooh, love the books. That's
so
cool.
They had all kinds of, I made a little booklet out of this one.
So you can still use booklets. You can still use belly bands. You can still use pockets.
Yeah.
And tucks.
So
pretty. Look at those dragonflies. Very pretty. Wow. Rhonda also loves the black and white one. It's gorgeous. Margie says, wow, on this one. I agree. And all of Sarah's folios are for sale. She's a little shy to state that. And I want to promote Sarah because she does beautiful work and she gives away, a lot of stuff. And she really should be selling it to help support her habit. Selling it, right? Selling it helps to pay for supplies so she can make more. So if you're interested in any of those in particular, then you can private message Sarah afterwards or private message me. I'll connect you with her. Anyway. Do you have one more that you want to show?
Yep, here's one right here. This was a kind of a strange closer. I didn't like the way it was, but it's like, then it wraps around like this and ties like this.
Oh, so, that's cool. Like a binding around the books. Love that.
So it's a small one.
Yeah, that's okay. I love that you showed that because it shows that there isn't any particular size for a folio.
Yeah.
They can be tall and thin. They can be short and squat. They can be long, square, rectangle. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
They are really very cool. Margie says if you will make an Alice in Wonderland one, she would like to buy it.
Oh, okay.
So
I would have to look
she
for
does
the.
beautiful, beautiful work.
I'd have
Okay.
to look at some digitals for it. I don't think I have any for Alice in Wonderland. And this was the tiniest one I've done
Oh,
so far.
cool. Let's see that one.
So it just folds out like a pancake, I
Just,
guess. I don't
yeah,
know.
that's
But
very pretty.
it's got things pretty much on all four
Oh, it's
sides.
small, but look at all those pockets and tuck spots and it's really beautiful. You don't always want a great big one.
Nope.
Yeah, I agree, Margie. Great ideas. Every single one that she showed us had different ideas, different things in it. Even the pockets are different. One, she cut out the top of the books, so the shape of it is the shape of the books. Just wonderful ideas. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so now we're going to see if the rest of us, the three of us, and any of you who want to participate can follow directions from Sarah and make a folio that she is going to guide us in. And Sarah and I talked about it ahead of time so that we could give you the list of what you need to be able to participate. If you didn't already get it and you want to participate, you still have plenty of time because it is so very simple and basic of what you need. So, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we're going to use 4 pieces of paper.
Right. One
We're gonna
large,
use,
2
okay.
medium, and 1 small.
Okay, we're going to use 4 pieces of paper, and one is going to be large. I'm going to use this large out of a music book page. One small. This is out of a paperback book. That's a small. And then 2 that are somewhere in between the large and small. And these 2 are the same. And so these are 2 out of an old hymnal. Okay, so 4 pages. Now, if you're going to go, what are the dimensions? The dimensions, I did put them in the description box. However, it doesn't even matter. Let me show you something else. It does not matter the dimensions of your pages. Here's a second one that I'll do. One large. Look how giant this is. This is a coffee table book with a beautiful lighthouse and background on it. I love the color.
That's beautiful. Yes.
And that'll be really pretty. So, and this is a little bit thicker because it's a coffee table book, but not as heavy as cardstock. You'll want to use book page, music page, scrapbook paper, not cardstock. Cardstock gets a little bit too hard for this one. But this one's quite a bit larger than my music page, you can see. It doesn't matter as long as there's one large, one small, and then 2, and this one came out of a National Geographic, and then 2 medium. They're somewhere in between the small and the large. Doesn't even matter where, just that they're in between it. And they came out of a magazine. They were like that in a magazine. So I just ripped both of them out. A regular magazine. So this one came out of a Nat Geo. These came out of a regular magazine. And this came out of a coffee table book. So I will set those aside. And that'll be a second one that I'll do. But the first one, if you've got some book pages, this is actually a perfect opportunity to use glossy magazine pages that you don't know what else to do with. A lot of times, those are the ones we end up throwing away because you may not want glossy pages in your journal. They may be a little, you can't write on them so well. Sometimes the glue doesn't stick to them so well. This is a perfect way to use those glossy pages because they're a little bit stronger. And so they're going to make a really good base for a folio. Does that make sense? All right, Sarah, I'm going to make you full screen. And you, if you would please, go ahead and instruct us through making this folio.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like you have the large piece first.
I have the large piece, and I'll run through the whole large piece.
Okay.
And everything you do to set it up, and then we can continue in to do the others because they're just the same, really.
Okay, perfect.
So when you look at both sides, the long sides, you're gonna fold about a half to a 3/4 inch fold because you can actually make this the size you want by the folds. I mean, you could probably use this great big one and cut it
Hang
in
on just a
half,
second.
and that'd be your small one.
Rhonda, I would make it rectangle. If you've got a 12 by 12, I would cut it to, what is mine? Maybe
8.5 by 11.
8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 12, 9 by 12, just so it's a little bit rectangle. And basically what we're doing here is turning these pages into envelopes of sorts. And so, as you see Sarah turning in the two sides of that, the other side of her page is going to be what really shows on the outside. So if you have a magazine page and you like one side better than the other and you'd want that to show, then put that side face down and fold the two long sides of your paper in. She said approximately 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. And it doesn't have to be exact. Don't worry about scoring it. Just lay it down and fold it like she's doing. So I've got one side in, and my one side isn't even cut straight. That's not even going to matter, right, Sarah? Because I'm just going to fold it in.
No,
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So when I fold it in, it becomes straight. There we go. All right. And if you just line up your paper to itself, you will have a straight fold on the side.
Mostly.
Mostly, I
I
know.
can't do that very well, but
Not exact. And you know what? Again, it doesn't even matter. Okay,
Yeah,
so I've got my two
doesn't.
sides folded in like you do.
It really doesn't matter.
Now what?
So then, if you want to, you need to, on this piece of paper, you need a flap that's going to be about 2.5 inches. So you can look at a ruler, or you can just fudge it, whatever you want to do, and you know that that's where you want to put your fold for the flap. And then you want to fold your bottom up to within 1/2 inch of that point where you're.
Okay, so breaking down what she just said, if you take your paper and fold the bottom up about 1/3 of your page. That sound about right, Sarah?
No, it's probably
more than 1/3.
Less.
Yeah, it might be it's about 2.5 to 3 inches.
No, the bottom.
The bottom is going to be. That's why I measure where the flap is, and then I fold the bottom up to be within 1/2 inch of where your fold for your flap.
Okay, so then we're going to take the top and fold the top down about 2.5 or 3 inches. And again, it won't matter whether it's 2.5 or 3 or 2.25 or 3.25. That won't matter. Just give it a nice big fold of 2.5 to 3 inches. Once you fold that top up, then lift it back up and fold the bottom up. And now you can gauge by the fold you just did on the top, make the bottom about 1/2 to 1 inch lower than.
I would say no more than 1/2.
Okay.
But it really, I mean, you judge it by how your envelope looks when you're done with it.
Okay, so I folded the top down, I don't know, probably 3 inches, 2.5 to 3 inches. And there's my crease. And so I took the bottom and I folded it up. There's probably 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch space there. Fold the bottom up, and then that will be the flap on the top there. Now, see, they're going to look a little different from each other because we have all different sizes of paper. So it doesn't matter what size your paper. It doesn't matter how big this flap is. If your flap is a little smaller, mine is bigger. Sarah's is a little bit shorter than mine. Mine is longer than hers, but I don't know. Maybe my page was longer than hers.
It probably was. It looked like it was.
And when I look at it overall, let me just see. 4, 8. Okay. When I look at it overall, my bottom is folded up about 1/3 of the page. And then you could leave, this is going to be a pocket right here. So you could leave as much space as you would like in your pocket there. That could be a 1/2 inch. Maybe you like a larger space in a pocket and you could make it 1 inch even, I suppose. Yeah, you could even make it 2 inches. You could have a big old open so you can put lots of stuff in it. You know, again, the reason I love this folio that Sarah does is because it is, like Margie said, no exactments. No exactments. Christy, this is the perfect thing to help the OCD-ness let go. Because even if it's not exact, even if it's not the same dimension as mine, which is not the same dimension as Sarah's, it will work out. That's the beauty of it, is it works every time. It doesn't matter. So we folded the sides in. We fold the bottom up about 1/3 of the page. We've folded the top down. We've left a little gap in here for our pocket. Okay. So that's our largest page, right, Sarah?
Right. Yep. So now to cut it, I kind of drew along the outside edge or the inside edge of the fold, and above the fold, you would cut this down, and the same thing over on the other side.
Okay, do you see where her pen marking is? Her pen marking shows right where she folded the side in and up to the first, that's about 1/3 up where she folded the bottom 1/2 up. Lift the bottom up a little so they can see that that's right where it folds. There you go, right there. Okay, so there's basically, let me go back here, where it folds up and where it folds in, you've basically created a tall, skinny rectangle right here of this folded piece of paper.
But it's on the top, not the bottom.
Both of them. You're going to be doing both of them.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so this one is on the bottom because the top is cut differently.
We're going to cut out this little rectangle of this folded piece on the bottom part of our envelope, which is the part that folds up that we would slide into. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to cut that out. And it's hard to cut exactly on that fold. So
Yes.
cut on the inside of the fold. That way you won't have a little bit of flap of paper there in your way. Okay, so cutting that. And then I'm going to cut that little rectangle right here. And again, cut just above that fold so that you don't have that little folded flappy thing in your way. Okay, and then I'm going to go over to this side and do the same thing. Cut that little rectangle out. Let's see. Okay, so when you're done, you should have your page like this. We folded in the sides, but now we've cut out that little piece. So that when the bottom folds up, it will glue onto that, right? And then we still have our top. So now Sarah said we need to do the same thing on the top, right?
But
Cut out
slightly differently.
Okay.
At the top, I don't know if you can see this, but I have a little mark. It's about maybe 1/4 inch from the edge. You're going to cut this one down to below the fold, and then you do the same thing and you angle it a little more about it.
Okay.
So you're going to cut it like 1/2 of a trapezoid or something. I don't know.
Okay, so let me think here. I have an idea. Because it may be hard to see hers because it's very small. Let's do this. Cut the top one the same as you cut the bottom one. Sarah will see where I'm going with this. Sometimes it's hard to see when they're on a phone. So if you cut your top one the same way as you did the bottom one on both sides. Margie, I always love your pretend creations. She's over there snipping away, pretending to make one with us. Okay, so I cut the top the same as the bottom. And now when I fold this up and I fold the top down, what Sarah is saying is, if I cut this at a little bit of an angle from here, it'll look more like an envelope flap. So instead of coming straight down, if I come over here and just make a tiny little angle all the way down to that fold. Now you see the difference. It's hard to see the difference because it's all the same color. We put a different color under. There you go. See how this one comes down at a little angle? This one's still coming straight down. So if I cut this at a little angle, she's saying if you angle that a little bit, it'll look more like a flap. So if it's hard to see hers because it's so tiny.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's a lot of people are on their phones and it is hard to see. Cut it just like you did the bottom one and then come up here and just cut a little bit of an angle. Now, Rhonda and Margie and Christy, I understand the brain that wants to measure everything. Believe me, I started out that way. And I would suggest, I would ask that you might try one of these today without measuring it. Because I found in my, perfection brain, perfectionist OCD, must measure, these must be exactly the same, that when I started doing this, it was very freeing, not only on this project, but it frees up your creativity because your brains will stop to stifle so much. How do I say that? When my creative brain would start to think of things, my perfectionist brain would say, wait a minute, we must make sure that is perfect and measured and all of this. And it really stifles your creativity from just flowing, just coming out and making things. So when I started trying to do something without measuring it as other people were doing it, I found that it really released a lot of my creativity. Now, don't misunderstand me and think that I never measure, because I do. And when I'm making albums like these, I'm measuring every single thing and that's all perfect. It's got to be for me. That's the way I do it. However, it's really nice to be able to get your brain in a mode that sometimes I want to measure and make it perfect. And sometimes I don't have to, and it still comes out perfect. So yeah, it is hard for the the card maker. Hi, Lucy. Yes, excellent directions so far, Sarah. Thank you. Lucy said that.
Measuring too, Lucy.
Yeah. So for those who don't like measuring, this is a piece of cake. But for those of us who do, it is a little more difficult. But I'm going to encourage you to try it. And we're going to have time to make more than one today. But I'm going to encourage you to try it. And even make 2 folios, one that you measured and one that you didn't, and see how they come out side by side, and try it more frequently and see if it doesn't help your brain to release some of its creativity because your left brain isn't stifling the right brain. It's for someone who's been in left brain professions my whole life, finance, things like that, to be able to release the right brain creativity is really awesome. So
yes,
I do understand what you guys are saying. Okay, so hopefully that helped. If you couldn't see her because it's tiny, that you just cut that the same and then come back and just cut that at a slight angle, and now you have the envelope.
Actually, if they look at mine, you can see. The difference.
So then to finish it off, you just put a small thin bead of glue on the bottom half.
Okay. Grabbing glue. So she's putting the bead of glue. Notice she's putting it on that bottom third where we cut out the corner. She's not putting it on the center section because it's not going to fold all the way to the top of the center section. And if you put it all the way up there, you're going to have excess glue to try to rub off. So she's putting it on that bottom section, just one little bead so it doesn't squirt out all over the place and seal up your envelope. And then fold the flap up, press it down on those two sides. And then this is where I take another piece of paper and stick it inside just to make sure that I didn't accidentally glue my envelope closed inside. I'm learning to use less glue. I know I can be heavy-handed and sometimes get too much. Okay, so let's see. Get my paper in. It moves around both sides. Push that down nicely. Okay, perfect. So if you've done that, then you should have, like Sarah, that envelope in front of you. The bottom is folded up now and glued right there. And we have the top flap that goes down, right, Sarah?
That's right. Yep.
Now, you can look at Sarah's and mine, and you can see that they're different sizes. Hers is wider. Mine seems to be a little taller. You're going to see that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. All that matters is the ratio, the dimension of the pages, a large and a small. It doesn't matter how large or how small. Okay, so we'll set that one aside. Now what, Sarah?
You take your two middle pages, and you will need to at least get an idea of what you started with so that you can have them the same size. They should be really close to the same size.
So the two middle ones, we want to fold them so that they're the same page paper. So if we fold them the same, we want them to end up at the same size, is what you're saying?
Pretty close, yes. Not
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if they're exact, but if you fold them the same, they're going to end up the same. So we're going to do them exactly the same as we did the other one.
Right.
Fold both sides in. Okay.
I do it at about a half an inch.
About a half an inch. Okay. Half an inch on both sides. Okay. I'm going to go to my other one and do that fold at the same time. So I've got both my folds. Margie. Okay.
Is it a half an inch or a fourth of an inch?
Sarah said about a half an inch on the sides.
Depending on how big you want it, you can fold it however you want, really.
Now, if you fold that at a quarter of an inch, it's just going to make a little bit wider envelope. If you make it at a 3/4 of an inch, it's going to be a little less wide of an envelope. And I know the left brain of us that wants to measure is driven crazy with this, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You choose. It doesn't matter if it ends up at half an inch, quarter inch, bigger, smaller than the other one or than the other two. It doesn't matter. It's still going to work. And that's why I love this folio, because it's still going to work.
So say
I know. It's a great way to get our left brain out of the way and let the right brain be creative. We're basically making envelopes. Yeah, for the base. So
I would rather use a damn envelope.
You could use an envelope. This is a fantastic way to use those big glossy magazine pages that nobody knows what to do with. But if you're like me and you have 4,000 envelopes, then you might want to use envelopes. They will work too. Neither of Margie's brains are awake today. Okay, so Sarah, after doing that, I'm going to fold them up. Is that right? The same as I did the first one?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm gonna fold them up exactly like we did the first. So I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way up here. And again, if it's 1/3 plus 1/4 of an inch or minus 1/4 of an inch, not going to matter. It's still going to work. Trust me. Sarah walked me through making one of these. She walked me through making one of these during the week, and I just folded it however, and it worked. It worked
Somebody
perfectly.
should have had Sylvia on the tutorial because
Okay,
if anybody's watching me struggle, you can watch me struggle. That's perfectly fine.
because I know this is going to be an envelope, when I fold that up, I want to leave enough room up here that I can tuck something in. So when I fold the top down, I'm going to leave enough space there. And that space can be as big as you want. Some people like a lot of space. Some people don't. That is up to you.
And do we cut them the same, Sarah?
I'm sorry.
We're going to cut them the same also?
Exactly. Yes. Same way.
Okay, look at this. When I folded this up here, this isn't exactly folded the same all the way up and down. My left brain is going crazy. So all I have to do is open that and just fold it a tiny bit more there. I can line that up. It doesn't have to be measured and scored. I can just adjust that a tiny bit and make that fold right. And then my OCD brain is okay with it. So
I don't even have an OCD brain. I'm just like, I don't have a brain.
I don't. I'm really not OCD, but I do have that perfectionist left brain.
I don't. No. This is why I love working with envelopes.
Even if you don't fold it perfectly the first time, you can adjust that and make that fold just right so that you'll be okay with that. Brains. And what if they end up different sizes, Julie? Julie, that's perfectly fine. It will still work. And I can tell you that because the one that Sarah walked me through during the week, they were different sizes and it worked perfectly. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to fold this one and I'm not going to put it up to that one. I'm just going to fold it on its own. And then I'm going to cut those corners out, like Sarah said, and then glue it down the same way. I'm not going to worry about checking to see if they're the same size. So if they end up a little bit off, you'll see what I mean. That they're not lined up in that you go, oh my gosh, those two aren't the same size.
I hope everybody's laughing at me because I'm struggling.
Are you?
Yes. Laughing.
I love you, Sarah.
What are you struggling?
Oh, just because I can't fold properly. This is why I love envelopes. I love envelopes. Love envelopes. Have a ton of them.
Are you using solid paper? Did you grab book pages, music paper? What?
It's my regular typing paper.
Typing paper, copy paper. Okay. So you could basically have a template with the copy paper? Is that your thought?
It's quite all right. It's okay. Just go ahead. Continue.
We're going. We're going, but we leave no crafter behind, remember? We leave no sister behind.
Some of us, it's okay to be left behind.
Rhonda, please note, turn your book page upside down first. And that's why I said if there's a side of the page that you like better than the other, put that on facing on the bottom. Now, and here's the other thing, Rhonda, don't worry about whether you did it right or upside or downside, because in the end, this is on the side. And so it's on the side. So it won't matter whether you did it this way or that way, facing this way or that way. Okay. So don't forget about that. Yours is still going to work out just fine. Okay. There's my big one. So let me cut these corners out of my medium ones. And then Sarah, are we going to do the same thing with the small one?
Yeah, exactly.
Exact same thing with the small one. And glue, yes.
But I found that like some people might have a significantly smaller small than I have. Mine is almost the same size. So this one I'm going to fold and I'm going to fold my sides
deeper,
about 3/4 of an inch.
Okay. Okay. So let me get through my medium one here. And I'll show you what Sarah's talking about. Cut this off and cut that off. All right. And then, oops, cut the tops too before I start gluing. This paper is a little bit flimsy, these old book or old music pages. So I'll probably cover it with other paper just to give it strength. But I think the magazine pages, the glossy ones, are just by nature a little bit thicker, stronger paper, not quite cardstock, but they're just a little bit stronger. Maybe they're more fibrous, that type of paper. And I don't think I'll have to cover that. Okay, so if you're to the third page, are you guys at the third page already? Or are you still in your middle ones? Because I'm still
Nope,
one of
the
my.
third one.
Okay, so we did the one large, we did two middle size that are the same, and now we've got the one small. And the small one we want to be, quite a bit smaller than the big one. So we fold this up. So Sarah's saying that her small one is not really super small. It's, a little bit bigger than mine, and so it's maybe there isn't as big a difference. And so to make this one a little bit smaller, she folded larger margins on the side. She made this wider and this wider so she could turn it into a smaller envelope. I'm going to stick with the 1/2 inch because my page was already significantly smaller than my big one. This is 5 by 7, and I think that this one is about 10 by 18 or something like that, if I remember right.
So the 5 by 7, we fold in the edges like just the other ones too?
Yep, just like the others. Yep. So I did put these dimensions. Thank you for reminding me, Sylvia. I did put these dimensions in the description box so that you could grab some pages and be ready to go. So if you got pages that are of the dimensions that I put in the description box or in the notification we sent out, then your small one is going to be just fine in relation to your large one. You can just stick with your 1/2 inch fold. I forgot I put that in there, so thank you for reminding me. You're so good. As she subtly reminds me, these are the dimensions you gave us. Okay, so there's my small one. So I still need to cut the corners out of my small one, and then I need to glue both of my mediums and my small.
I know, I can hear Rhonda telling the world that Sylvia needs to go back to school.
Oh no, we are in school. Every time we learn to make something new with a piece of paper, I love it because I could be a continual, or what is it? Not continue. I could be a continual student my whole life. I love learning. I love learning something new. I love trying something different, something new.
Your curiosity is awesome.
Yes. That, you know what, guys, let your curiosity out. Curiosity is what takes us to places that we weren't sure we could go.
Yeah, well, that's why I have lots of envelopes.
Marianne has lots too.
I do.
Like
Anybody needs envelopes, let me know. As I have done this major macro organization of my studio through the month of June, I uncovered boxes and bins of envelopes that had been quite forgotten.
Yeah, I have mine.
Oh, yeah, tons
And
and
last
tons.
year when I flooded the basement, they're already
Oh, they already died. I
watermarked.
love that. Now, you could do this with envelopes. The fun of
Absolutely.
doing it with these papers is that you can
No.
get images from the magazine or the music or
Redefine
the
fun.
page. But,
Redefine fun.
but if you, like me and Sylvia, have a ton of envelopes, you certainly can use envelopes to do this,
Yes,
and it
I
will
would recommend that.
work. And okay, so I'm going to glue these up here, and then we'll have 4 glued envelopes, and Sarah can take us to the next step. And I know Margie's been yelling at me, and I did not hear, sorry, Margie, to put the pen back in my glue because now it's stuck.
You realize that Margie doesn't yell at me because I put my pen back.
I know. It's because you're good that way. She's yelling at me because I didn't put my pin back. She's good that way, keeping me on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to fold that up. I'm going to stick something, some little piece of paper down in here. Make sure I didn't glue my envelope closed. Perfect. Okay, and let me
Good night, nurse.
cut that one. Let me cut this one. I need to cut one and glue two. How are the rest of you guys doing?
I started on the second folio.
Oh, of course she did.
I haven't put them together. I'm
done too. I'm ready to show you the next step.
Okay, so give me 1 second here to get these cut and glued, and then we'll go to the next step.
I don't want to.
But you will anyway, right?
Yes. Compliance.
Yeah.
Compliance.
Thank you, Sylvia. I know. Okay, so there's the top. And look at all these little offcuts of book pages and music pages that we could make little clusters with. Or mini collages.
no, mine are going in the trash. They're too small to save.
Yep.
If I do a project like this, and when I'm done with the project, I use them right now and collage them on an index card or something like that, then I will use them. And if I don't, then whatever's left over goes into the trash.
That's exactly what I do.
If I use them at that time, great. Now, if they're gorgeous paper that I love or gel prints that I absolutely love, I will save those because I will use those at another time. But just book pages, music pages, no, there's plenty of those. We have to be a little more discretionary about the things we keep. As we've been discussing in admin, the problem with our art is that literally, and I do not use that word lightly, literally every single thing is usable. So you could easily, if we save everything that's usable in our art, we would literally be saving everything. And so we have to become a little more discretionary in what we're going to choose to keep, even though it might hurt to throw it away because you feel like it could be used, it could be upcycled. Why am I throwing it away? You're throwing it away so that some recyclers can still have jobs. Keep that in mind because they need jobs too. So
My
don't
recycler, I have to take my recycled stuff to a dump. We don't have somebody that picks ours up.
Wow. We do have recycle pickup, and I know not all cities do, but some you have to take it there, but they still do the recycling, and that's better than just the dump. But our paper stuff breaks down pretty quickly. So that is also not bad. But please do become a little more discretionary about what you do keep so that you don't become overrun. Know that there's going to be more junk mail every single day. So you don't have to keep every piece of junk mail. Keep only the things that are super cool. Maybe the inside of an envelope has a pattern on it that you've never seen before. Maybe the window is quite a bit different, or it's already folded into a cool folio style. Keep only the very special ones. Throw the rest away. Know that you're going to get more tomorrow. Leave room in your area as well as your mind for you to use the things you have. Okay. All right, Sarah, I've got 4 envelopes here in front of me that I've made now from these pieces of paper. And that's
Rhonda, are you still cutting?
Let's see here. Rhonda, how are you doing on yours?
I only have 3. I have enough frustration with the 3.
A large one and a small one, and then the 2 in the middle are the same size. Mine don't look exactly the same. They didn't end up exactly the same size, but they started out with the same size paper, and they are going to be just fine. Garbage fodder. Yeah. You don't cut the flaps off, Julie. You cut that little rectangle in the corner so that the bottom can fold up and glue down. And then the top, you cut the rectangle in the corner so that that becomes a flap. Okay, Rhonda's cutting her small one now.
Hi, Julie.
And Christy's cutting her small one now as well. Okay, please let us know as soon as you have your all 4 lined up like this, large, small, and 2 in the middle. And then we'll go to the next step. And Julie says, hi, Sylvia.
Good to see her.
Yeah. Margie's are all lined up, ready to go.
How's Glennis doing?
I know Christy and Rhonda are doing it. We need a large one, a small one, and 2 in the middle. Julie, I don't know if you missed the beginning. Glennis, are you feeling well enough to make it? She's not chatting, so I think she's crafting.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to assume she's making it and not chatting.
Glennis guessed my where my doodle or what my doodle was from on the thing. So I said I was gonna, whoever guessed my doodle was gonna get a little rack from me. So Glennis guessed it. So
cool.
I'm gonna send something to Canada.
Wow.
Oh, Canada.
I was waiting for that. Okay, so I'm wanting Christy and Rhonda to have their 4 done because I know that they are specifically making it with us.
Wait, hold on. Calm down.
Take a deep breath.
Oh, this is the big one. Okay. That's why. So this was.
Okay, so Rhonda and Christy, let us know as soon as you've got yours. Julie, if you are doing it along with us, let us know when you've got your 4 as well. Glennis said, or if we meet in 2 weeks, Sylvia. Yeah, if you meet her in 2 weeks, you won't have to send it to Canada. I think
she could come
she
to
must have gone
Washington.
to the coast to see Laura, I'll bet. Christy's done. Thank you, Christy. How you doing, Rhonda?
Show off.
Trip down to Laura's.
I'll keep that in mind, Glennis.
That would be awesome.
Even if I have to stand out on I-5. But I won't look unusual. I'll just be another Hispanic out there on the freeway.
Without a sign.
Without a sign, yes.
You'll recognize her long, luxurious hair flowing in the wind.
Please.
Okay, Rhonda's on her last one.
Oh, good.
Sylvia, how are you doing with you? Have you got 4?
I'm almost ready to finish this.
Oh, perfect. And you 4. Okay, we'll make sure Rhonda's got hers. While we're getting that last one lined up so everybody can move forward together, let me tell you about next week. Very excited about next week. Next week, our special guest is Dawn Marie, who is going to guide us in some fun things. Y'all know how to do the basic 3 pamphlet stitch. That's what probably one of the first binding methods we all learned. Dawn Marie is going to show you how you can take that 3-hole pamphlet stitch and amp it up so that you don't have to do some kind of fancy stitching binding to make your journal look fancy stitching binding. So he's going to show you how you can take it and turn it into a total work of art just with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So that will be very fun.
Will be.
Yes. So don't miss next week for sure. Will be.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Margie says, yeah. Do.
Oh wow. Really?
Do.
Really?
Well, I could sing, help me, Rhonda, help me,
Yeah,
Rhonda.
please help me, Rhonda.
I do like that song. Help me, Rhonda, yeah.
I was so much better with just 3 envelopes. No, she said. Follow
Okay, Rhonda's
everybody,
ready.
she said.
Rhonda's ready to move on. All right, everybody get your
So
4
nice,
envelopes in
so
front of
nice.
you. Everybody get your 4 original envelopes in front of you.
None of them are the same size.
They're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be.
2 of them should be the same size.
In general, it started out with the same size paper, but they don't need to be the same size envelopes. Okay, we've all got our 4 envelopes. All right, Sarah, what's next?
Okay, so you take your large one,
Okay,
and you take your small one, I mean
okay,
your medium one, and you place them together, center or off to the side, and you're going to glue the flaps together so
Okay.
one's laying right on top of the other.
So we're not lining them up at the top of the flap. We're lining them up at the fold of the top
At
of the
the
envelope.
fold,
Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so she's saying take the largest one and then take one of the mediums. So the next one down, the largest one and one of the next size down, bring them together, put the medium size one into the largest one, and I have to look where they fold here so I know that they're tucked in there. Where they fold, that's where I want to make sure that they fold together, because obviously these are not going to be the same size flaps here, right? They're different size envelopes. So she's saying glue the 2 top flaps together, making sure that you line them up at the fold, not at the top. Don't bring them up here and line up here, or that one's going to fold there and that one's going to fold there. We want them to fold together. So put the fold together. It can be in the middle. It can be off-centered. I will do mine in the middle, and then after I see how we end up, maybe I want to do another one off-centered. But because I don't know, because we haven't gotten to the end yet, I'm going to line those up, put the fold together, and then I'm going to glue, always put the glue on the smallest of the 2 pieces you're gluing together so that you don't end up with more glue than you need. So glue on the flap of the medium-sized envelope. There we go.
And then the smallest one.
Nope, only the 2, only the large one and a medium-sized one, and we're bringing those 2 together right there. There we go. Now let me make sure that they are in at the fold. And it's not perfectly centered, and it sounds like that doesn't really matter. As Sarah said, you can make it off-centered if you wanted. Okay, so you should end up with something like this. Here's a large envelope. Here's one of the 2 mediums. I still have 1 medium and I have the small one. So I took one of the mediums and I lined up the 2 folds of the envelopes right there, and then just glued the 2 flaps together. So they still flap and close there. So now it's like my big envelope closes and inside of it is the medium-sized envelope. Does that make sense? You probably could, Margie, but because I don't know yet where this is going to be glued down, well, I do, but you don't, because Sarah hasn't gotten there yet, that we're going to make this first one as a prototype. And then, just to let you see where we're going with this, we're going to do this first one as a basic prototype. And then Sarah can tell us some alternatives and options, and everybody else can chime in with how you could change it. This is how Sarah makes so many different folios, is she'll make this and then she'll go, oh, if I left that open, I could have another pocket there. Oh, if I put another one over here, I could make it flop that way. You know, and that's how everyone is different from the one before. So we want to make this first basic one, all of us the same, and then we can look at altering it up and making changes. So you want to see if this is actually going to end up somewhere that it could be a pocket, or is that going to get glued down and it wouldn't, you know, you can't make it a pocket anyway. So you can always jump ahead. I know. So is everybody here? Christy and Rhonda, are you here where you just glued the top two flaps together? And you've got a medium-sized pocket now glued to the large pocket. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Sylvia's got it. Sarah's done. Diem's done. Get her out of my mind. Okay, just waiting on an okay from Rhonda and Christy to know that they've got their
pressure.
glued.
No pressure.
No pressure. Once you've got your medium pocket glued to your large pocket like this, then we'll ask Sarah for our next step.
Who's sewing?
Not I, said the chicken.
I hear that too, but I don't know what that is. Rhonda, my large is one-sided paper, but my second is music paper, which covered the large plain flap. See? Perfect. Christy's there. Single-sided. Yep. I knew what you meant, Rhonda. Okay, Sarah, we are ready to go.
All right.
Again. What's our next
Now
step?
you take your other medium one
Uh-huh.
and your little one,
Uh-huh.
and you do the same thing.
All right. Easy enough. So we're going to take the medium one we have left and the smallest one. We're going to do the exact same thing. Glue these two together. I think I can handle Sylvia. No, it's too difficult.
No, it's just that I chopped my little one, so my little one is little.
Little teeny tiny. It's okay.
No, not
it's gonna,
tiny, but
it's
just,
gonna be super cute if it's little. We love tinies, right? We love minis. Okay, so I'm gonna take the little one, put it inside the medium one, line up those folds, glue those two down, and now I have a medium one with a little one glued inside it. Okay, guys, let us know when you've got that step done. Smallest one glued inside the medium one, and then you have a medium one glued inside the large one. So you should have two things that look identical now. Both are one envelope glued inside of the other one on the flap only. Tinies are adorable, Sylvia, Margie says. You know she loves tinies. All right, Rhonda is ready to go. Rhonda's ready to go.
Everybody forgets that I'm from Texas.
It's always about size in Texas. Christy. Okay, DM's ready. Wait, Christy, she'll be there in a second. Did you get yours glued, Sylvia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Sylvia's ready. Better put my pin back in the
wonder
glue.
if Jen is watching this because she's got to be laughing.
I'm sure. All right, Sarah, what is next step?
Okay, the next step is to have one flap here and one flap here, and you're going to glue these together.
Which one? The big one on the left?
The big one on the left.
Okay.
And the small one on the right, or you can do it the other way. It doesn't matter. But what you have to be careful of is that when you close this, when you close the other one on top of it, it needs to be really close to the edge.
Okay, but you want
that you can see the bottom part.
Okay, you want the bottom one to stick out. Is that what you're saying?
Right. You want, but you don't need it much. Like I'm not going to have much room to glue here. So
okay. So some of us may have more room than others depending on the size of our envelopes.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to line them up with your large and medium one on the left here. A medium and small one on the right here. Right. And then we're going to take the flap of the little one and we're going to glue it on top of the flap of the big one. Now we need to decide exactly how far we're going to put that in. We're just going to do it right there, all the way in. And she's saying, decide how far in to put that. Turn it around, Sylvia.
Okay.
So do you want both of your flaps to meet like this in the middle?
Right.
Okay, when both of your flaps meet, if I take the small one and I close it up and I set it in here when it's going to be glued down, right? I glue that flap down. I need to be able to close the other one on top of it. So I don't want to glue it so far down that now I can't close this one. All right. And then she's saying, I want this edge here to stick out, to poke out. When I close this, I can't see it. I've completely covered it. So I would need to bring it farther out here to make sure it pokes out. There it pokes out.
Mine still won't poke out, even if I pull it as far
All the way
to
to
the
the
edge
edge.
as possible.
Okay. So just go then as far as you can to make it workable. So I can bring it out to here and it can poke out just a little bit. And let me see. Whoops. Let me see how.
I have a workaround if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't meet.
Okay. Look at that. If I'm going to do that and it's going to poke out, I only have about 1/4 of an inch to glue it down.
Right.
Okay, go through this. This is the way it's supposed to open, the envelope with the thing, and now
Sarah,
we're
can you
gluing
show?
to this side.
Can I show what?
Can you just show it again where you're
Okay.
gluing the thing together?
So you're going to glue the back of this flap from the middle at the medium
Okay.
size and the small size, and you're going to put it on the very edge of the top one because it needs to be able to fold over, and you need to be able to see just a little hair of the bottom flap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
And then so
what's
what
the
you can
workaround?
do, mine is like right next to each other, like right here. Here's the bottom flap of it. Here's the top flap. Take yourself a piece of scrap paper and glue both sides of that, and you have both of them together. Because you're going to be decorating it over anyway.
Oh, okay.
So basically, if you don't have enough of a flap on your medium one here that you can get it out here and it will still show, you could glue a little extension onto this flap. So you can just take one of those pieces that you cut off, or another piece of book page, or a piece of anything scrap that's there, because when you decorate it, you're going to cover it anyway, and glue yourself a little extension right here just to make this flap longer, so that when you put it on here, you have enough to glue on. I think I can do it at about 1/4 of an inch, and it will be just enough that it will just barely hang out. So I will do that. It's close, but it'll work. Okay, Rhonda, Christy, did you see if you don't have enough on there that you can glue, then you could add a little extension. So I'm putting just enough on there that I can get that on about 1/4 of an inch. And so when that folds, let me make sure I've got that straight.
Whoa.
So mine isn't enough to hold it. So I'm going to use,
Okay.
I'm using this extension.
Okay, so you might put it on here and think, okay, I've got enough there. But then when I do it, I really barely have enough. It's barely on there, 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And it just doesn't feel like it's going to be very strong, very sturdy, because it's barely glued on there. So then Sarah's saying, go ahead and just turn it over and take a scrap piece of paper. You just find a scrap here. Take a scrap piece of paper. Some things are so difficult to do with one hand. Okay, here's something I cut off.
That's right. I keep forgetting you're handicapped. You're handicapped.
So just take this scrap piece of paper and glue it on here. So there's the seam. I'll glue it here so that it covers both. It covers both pieces of paper. That's a magazine page. I'm going to get something that's not glossy. I've got some scraps here. Here's one. This is a piece of copy paper that had been used on the gel plate. Okay, so I could put this right here. Doesn't have to be quite this wide. It doesn't go all the way from one end to the other. That doesn't matter. It's enough to cover both of these sufficiently that it's adding stability. So I will do that.
So does the front have the layered look then?
That's
Yes.
actually kind of ends up being the back. But the hang on. Put that in the middle. Okay,
You
so
have
that's
just
Go
a
ahead.
hair. I mean,
yeah.
a 1/16 of an inch. The bottom needs to show past
So
the
there's
top.
a stability. So when I come back here and I close that, the bottom, my medium one that I just glued on, you can see out from underneath it just a hair, just barely, just a 1/16 of an inch. That's all I got. So Rhonda, Christy, just glue you a little extension on there. If there was enough just to attach them, and then glue the extension over it. If there's not, just glue the extension straight onto the smaller of these two, and then use that to glue on. So that extension now gives you the ability to have just a tiny, tiny overlap there. And then when I close this and close that, as Sarah said, you can see just a 1/16 of an inch. That's all I had coming out the side there. All right, let us know when you get to that point. Oh my, Margie said.
Oh, mine is going the opposite direction. Was
That's
it supposed
okay.
to go on the
It doesn't
inside
matter.
of the
It doesn't
outside of
matter.
the
You're fine. You are absolutely perfect right there. You got it right, Sylvia.
Okay.
Turn it around the way you just had it. Close. Yep. No. Close close that. Close that. Yep. Now and turn it upside down.
This
Flip it
way?
over.
This
And-
way?
Now flip it like left to right. So that's on the bottom, and we see that what's on the back. No, don't open it. Don't open it.
Don't open it.
Now just flip it. There you go. Okay, so it doesn't stick out.
No.
It doesn't stick out at all.
No.
But you do put the flaps together.
I
It'll
mean,
work.
I can do it this way.
Who
That'll
said
work
Matt
for
is
me.
going to be involved?
That's just another variation, Sylvia.
You're
So-
very kind, Sarah.
we're doing Sarah's basic template here, but as she said, this is the thing with folios, when you're making them and you go, oh, well, that's not going to work on this one. You do it a little differently, and it's just another variation. Everything that you change, whether
It
it's
should have been the other
whether
way.
it's on purpose or not.
Yeah,
And that's
I see
okay,
what I
Christy.
did wrong. I see what I did wrong. Okay.
Yeah, Christie's is sticking out more than mine. That's okay. It'll work too. All right. They are caught up. All right, Sarah. So now we've got the left and the right glued together there.
Yeah. And there it is.
Okay, so
There's-
I'm going to make you large and you show them how. Open it again. Open it.
Okay.
And then show them how you close it.
Okay, so
So we're going to close the tiniest first.
tiniest first.
So right, and then left, and then right, and then left. Do you guys see that? When it's open all the way, she closed the tiniest envelope, which is on the right first, and then a medium one, which is on the left, and then a medium one that's on the right, and then the large one that's on the left. And so they just overlap each other. Right, left, boom. And there you have a folio. Sylvia. Now, if you throw those in and you close this one and then both of those and this one.
Just
it doesn't
another
matter.
variation, Christy.
It doesn't matter. Yep. Glued mine the wrong way. But no, don't start over, Christy. Not yet. Don't start over. Look at it and see, will it close? You glued it, but will it close? If it will close, then you're fine. It's just another variation of a folio. And if you can, if it won't close and you need to do it, grab your undo. I know you got undo, and see if you can just undo that one seam. Or look, you could cut this. You can't undo it. You could just cut that and then glue an extension onto it and glue it in the right place. There is no wrong. There is no wrong. It's just another variation.
Did you make 2 small ones?
Rhonda, did you have more than 4 to start with? We had a large one, a small one, and 2 in the middle. So you made 2. You made a large one and 2 small ones and 2 medium ones. Is that right, Rhonda? So Rhonda, you had 5 to start with. If that's the case,
just add it to the back of one of them.
Yeah. Okay. So hang on to that small one. Hang on to that small one. So here is the basic folio that Sarah just showed us. Now, if I feel like these pages are a little flimsy, I can cover these with pretty paper or partly paper or paint them or whatever and turn it into, any color, any style, any flavor that you want. And then you could put any kind of wrap around it to close it up. You can fill these up. You can add whatever. So now it closes, but it goes the other way. Oh, that's okay. That's okay, Christy. That's perfect, is make one more envelope to glue onto it to get this kind of closure so it'll hold the whole thing together. So Rhonda, you've got one mini one left. What if you took that? Here's one I did that Sarah walked me through, and it was book pages that were a little flimsy, and so I covered it with paper just to give it stability. But see, here's the big one. It's not as big as the one I did today, but there's the big one. There's the envelope. There's the medium one. So here's the medium one over here. There's the envelope. I just covered the whole thing with paper, with scraps, actually. Here's the next medium one. There it is there. And there's the small one. And here's the small one. Now, I saw this big space in the middle. Rhonda, what if you took that other small one and you just glued it right in the middle? So when you get all those open, you have another envelope right in the middle. It's just another variation. As Sarah keeps saying, all the things that you're saying you did wrong, you guys, they're not wrong. Just another variation. You could flip this over, and I think Sarah mentioned you could glue that small pocket on the back. Yeah, easy peasy.
So, this is the one I redecorated after we talked at ours the other day. And I just cover it. I even covered my middle part so that it was even, as opposed to being a small part. But, this is just how I did this one. Now, to talk about the other things you can do, I have one here that, say this is the very center from the left to the right. Well, I put a pocket right here.
I like it.
And so when you close this one, I did another one, and this is the bottom of that one, but I put another pocket right here. So yeah, there's a pocket there.
Love that.
And there's a pocket here.
She added another one there.
So
you take a basic, so she just taught us a basic folio. You can take that basic folio recipe that she just gave us, that Sarah just gave us, and you can add on. She added on out to the side. So there was one more fold and then this fold. She could do it that way. She added on the back. So there's more envelopes on the back. She added on the inside. So with her basic recipe that she just gave you, you could make 100 different types of folios. Super easy. And when I'm using those and I have little scraps sitting around, I like to try to use those scraps. So I'll take those scraps, make a little belly band there, take one and make a little tag that's going to go somewhere. There's just a little tuck spot on the back of that one. This is just a scrap piece of paper. So I didn't even fold it. I just glued it down, folded it up, and turned it into an envelope right there. yeah, I love that, Sarah. This is nice. There's just a scrap that would make a corner tuck. This could use a whole nother one right here. I see you could add on the inside and have a whole nother one fold inside and still keep the outside looking however you wanted it. I love this as a really basic folio recipe because there is so many things you could do with it. I mean, Sarah herself she just showed you taking this and then made alterations and additions. So you could make dozens of folios and every one of them would be different. Did you also notice that the one she just showed us that she did all those extensions to, that it's the glossy paper from magazines, encyclopedias, those kinds of things? Those are the pages that nobody knows what to do with. They're harder to use. They are perfect as bases for folios because they are a little bit stronger. They're a little bit stronger. They come in those larger sizes. So when you fold them down, you have good sizes like this. Okay, so now if you want to, DM's already started on another one. If you want to make another one and make some additions and alterations and changes to it, and then we can talk about what ideas you guys have of how to alter it. But let me ask a question of Sarah first. Sarah, when you look at folios or you think about making folios and you've made a ton, what are some of the ways that you would use a folio, could think about using a folio, ideas that you have about how to use folios?
Well, I touched on it earlier when I said that you could send it as an addition. If you're sending somebody, giving somebody, or selling somebody a journal, you could add one of these decorated similar to the journal and put ephemera in it for the recipient to use to decorate their decorating.
I love
journal.
that when you said that, because you decorate the journal, but then you can add a whole bunch of stuff. So if they really want to add to it and feel like they participated in the journal, or maybe you don't know how much they would like it decorated or not. I love that idea that they could add and decorate more themselves. So as an ephemera holder to accompany a journal, that is a fantastic idea right there. What else? There was something else you said that I caught.
I give it to people.
Okay.
I just give them. I mean, I don't have any use for it because I don't journal and I don't really write but I love making them because they're short-term projects for me.
Yeah.
And
brain doesn't have to focus
on them better.
Okay. So you made one that was, I think it was called Stormy Skies.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. And you said I probably won't give this one away because it's full of sayings and quotes and things that had meaning to you at this time in your life.
Right. Exactly.
Okay? I think, and that made me think, what a perfect little small compact place as, I don't know, what do you call it? A little memory storage area for, here's either an event or a time in life. And I'm kind of reading these quotes and things that either they make me feel better or they apply, pulling them all together. I could make a folio and decorate it just with things that are, pertain to that and mean something only to me.
Right. Yes.
And keep that. And then every time you look at it, it is chock full of those quotes that make you feel better, that remind you of things, memories of a particular time and place or person, things like that. I loved that idea. That was fantastic. Christy said it would be a really cool sticker holder. So you talked about ephemera to add to that. What about, a lot of people keep stickers separately and they might just give stickers with a journal or a folio. You could even use it for storage, depending how many stickers you personally keep. Some people keep a lot. Some people don't keep as many. But I'll tell you what, this pocket will hold a lot of stickers. But it would be kind of a cool little sticker storage folio. That's a good idea. Right. Rhonda said You could put photos inside a journalio, Margie said. Rhonda, that's something that I hadn't thought about until just a couple of days ago. And it kind of went along almost with Sarah's idea of the memory, the Stormy Sky one. I thought, why not take a folio that's a smaller short-term project and take some photos of a family member? It might be their birthday. It might be an anniversary. It might just be, I'm thinking of you, whatever it is. But I don't have to decorate an entire journal. I could take 3, 4, 6, maybe half a dozen photos, and I could put the photos of them in here throughout. I could add some quotes. So maybe I put a photo here. Maybe I put a quote over here, a poem that I know is special to them. And maybe I mount another photo on a mat and stick it inside of a pocket, but decorate it with just those things for them. Put a nice ribbon around it and give that to them as a gift. That's like a small memory place for them. I thought that would be cool. It's like a little memory book, but not a whole book. That would be fun. DM, you need to tilt again. Let's see. Margie said she would use her pretty paper and save the step of putting pretty paper on it. You totally can do that. Julie says, or images you have stamped and colored in. Yes. DM was pulling pages from a coloring book. You could use coloring book pages to make it. So whether you left them plain and somebody else colored them, or whether you colored them and then used the pages to make the folio, either one would be cool. Margie said DM just made an envelope from a tag.
No, I didn't.
DM's got a big old glare because she's using a glossy book pages. So
let me see if I can get the glare off. 1 second.
Well, it might look like it was something that it wasn't. I'm going to go to Sylvia for a second and let her show us a folio. She's made.
Did it get too dark?
Oh, that's better. No, that's okay. Sylvia's made several folios recently
with envelopes.
So that she like me has an abundance of envelopes.
Yes.
And so rather than use paper, she went straight to the envelopes. I see some packaging in there that I recognize.
Yes.
And
yeah, exactly.
Hey, talk us through that.
So I love, what are these called?
The window envelopes?
Yeah, what are those called? When you make the cards, the shakers.
Oh,
I love shaker
cards. Okay.
But I didn't put anything in here. In this one, I did put, but I used vellum. So you really can't see it unless you're in person.
Right.
So this is going to be for words that I like to write, or words that I will practice with my writing. And
cool.
It here, and all of these are just from pages that we pulled, jelly plates, and decorated, which is just odds and ends that I had, and just stuck them in here. That's from a stencil. And,
okay, so Sylvia, some of you may not know, Sylvia does beautiful calligraphy.
Whoa, it's faux calligraphy. And I do calligraphy, yes, I do. But not for weddings or anything like that. This is another one that I made. This one's made out of a file folder. And this one I wanted to use a feather, because at one time you were giving us feathers. And this is all just stuff. This one folds out like this.
So what I love is this is a folio that Sylvia can use to practice certain lettering that she wants to do, calligraphy. She doesn't have to take a whole journal. She could carry this with her. So if she's waiting somewhere, she could be practicing her lettering. I love that.
This is a doodle. This is a doodle. Has a pocket here for more stuff to doodle on. This is because I love what Dawn does with strips. I wanted to use, this is too big to use in a journal, but I put it in here. Then again, just stuff that, like you said, swatches that need to go someplace, sometimes in the journal. And this paper, I think Don Marie gave this to me.
I
not-
think
I
that's
don't remember.
great.
Yeah.
I don't
And
One of them,
just
she had almost a little notebook. She had glued or stapled several pages so that she could flip it up and write on the next one. And that's
Yeah.
perfect. If that's the one that she's going to do lettering in, she can letter until she's got all those full. She can put it on
And I
her
got a
shelf. Make
pocket
another
here.
one.
I got a
Perfect.
pocket here and a pocket here.
How nice. She does write Purdy. Can we post her folios in the group if they're yes, please. We want you to post
We
all of
want
your
to see
makes
the
in the
work.
group.
Definitely.
Your makes do
Definitely.
not have to be the same as anybody else's, and they don't have to be exactly
no.
the same as what is taught on the tutorial or on Monday Jumpstart. The whole purpose of this is just to get our creative brains freed and open up so that they can think and make things differently and not
Yeah.
always have to be shown by somebody step by step, because our brain can say, oh, I know how to make a basic one and I can take it from there.
So I'm going to take this naked folio and collage on it and doodle on it.
Ooh, cool.
Cool.
I like that. That's a great idea. Sylvia's colors are pretty. In one of those, I saw some packaging from Dilutions on
Yeah.
that one. Yep, I recognize that. That packaging is really pretty.
This is washi tape. This is
Mhm.
another envelope, Christmas packaging that I didn't want to throw away
Perfect.
because it was going to be Christmas, but then I got Jen's papers and just I
Mhm.
love Jen's papers and a map.
So,
and
you know,
this
just
is a
pretty
pocket
things that you
with-
want to look at. It doesn't have to take a ton of space. It doesn't have to be a giant book. Somebody asked about the book that DM is using. It's actually a book, not a magazine. And the book is called Dish. And it's a book full of dishes, beautiful dishes of food, or just dishes, just the beautiful dishes, right?
This is it right here if you want to go to.
So just beautiful dishes, plates and platters. Some of them are so gorgeous. And she's right. Those things will make beautiful folios and envelopes with great pictures
Right.
on.
I don't think I'll put anything, especially this one
Won't
right
cover
here.
it.
Is coming out
Yeah.
really good. You know, to cover what I've done.
Mhm.
The blue one's okay. I may find some more blue pictures in here and
You
put
might
some
embellish it without completely covering it.
right. Yeah.
I have this giant one from a coffee table book, and I don't think I'll cover this because I love the colors
That is
on
beautiful.
this lighthouse page. So I'm kind of anxious to do another one here. Oh, even the back is very cool. But I love the colors on this. So I'm going to, you guys, if you want to whip up another one, let's do another one. And if you want to do some variations on this one, something a little bit different, give us all some ideas of what you're thinking, how you would do it differently.
Well,
Sarah, look
one
what you've
thing
done.
One thing I would say is if you're making envelopes, a lot of times it's hard to get things in and out. And I do usually, and I'll from now on know to cut them before, is I usually put a thumb notch in with a half round or a round punch
Right.
and just do it halfway.
That's a good idea.
And
So
that
that's
is
the only thing that I would
that's
do.
the exact reason that on the bottom I said if I fold it up about a third and I can leave, you don't have to only leave a half an inch up here for the top to fold down. You can leave an inch or an inch and a half so that you have plenty of room to get into, get into those pockets. If you don't have that much room because it's not that big and you want thumb notches, notch them out. Most of these envelopes, you could probably still get your punch in there and punch them out. So many ideas. Recipe cards. That would be cool in the one DM has with the dishes. Yeah. Yep. This is a great way to put a dent in the amount of envelopes. Now, and we're going to find the link to the one that we did on a Monday Jumpstart. I think it was a Monday Jumpstart. Sarah showed you her black and white one that she made from that tutorial. But it is such that, and like this one, it's just a good base that you could add more and more and more envelopes. So you can literally use up as many envelopes as you want on a folio. It can flip as many times as you'd like. I'm anxious to do this one because I think this is going to be so pretty. All right, so fold this up. Yeah, when you fold this up, I want to leave enough space here when I fold my flap down that I can get things in, especially the bigger the envelope is, the more space I need to be able to get larger things into the pocket. So instead of this going all the way down, you could leave 1 inch or 2 inches up top. So when you open it, there's a lot of room. Oh, that's going to be so
The only other thing that I was thinking is that you could make any place you've glued them together, you could make it a gusset, especially on the big one.
Yes.
Yeah, you could. And now you can look at it and say, okay, would it be okay to leave this open as a pocket, or is that going to get closed anyway? And I'll put a pocket on top of it, you know, that kind of thing.
I pretty much just cover the whole thing and then add pockets and stuff
Afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this paper here, I don't need to cover. It's really thick. This paper's a little bit thinner. It's from one of the, you know, just sports magazines. It's getting a little bit thinner and might need the support of being covered.
Yeah.
Sarah, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
If you were to cover this, would you put one whole piece of paper right across here so that you're not seeing that as a whole flap, and this would be, you know, a separate piece of paper?
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay. I was just curious because of the size difference. Yeah. Would you just put another?
And you can look at that and you could do that a number of ways. So like I put one piece of paper on, this was the big envelope. And then I brought it down here to the next size envelope, which then came down to the smaller envelope on that end. And then in the center, I actually put some of the scraps right inside, just what you could see would be covered. And I wanted to cover all the folds because that's where I felt like it needed strengthening.
Yeah. So that's why that's what I did with this one here. I took I just made that division where the two envelopes meet together. I just added a full piece of paper to match the top.
Okay.
Perfect.
You could do that. You don't have to.
So
there's just so many different ways that you could arrange it.
Sarah said, there's no right or wrong because I mean, because there's so many different things that you could do or ways you could do it. There's no right or wrong. And if you glue it like Christy did and you go, oh, that's not the way I thought I was going to glue it. I wanted it to open that way. No big deal. Grab another piece of paper or another envelope, glue another one on and add that. You know, there's just no right or wrong. You can just add to it. Now you also see, now that we're done, you can see how the two centerpieces that are the same size, they started out the same size. You can see how it doesn't really matter if they are folded exactly the same because they're not together. You don't really see it. So I know everybody was concerned about my two center ones need to be folded exactly and exactly the same. It doesn't really matter. One's on one side, one's on the other side. And, you know, here's my two center ones, and they are definitely folded differently as far as how much is folded down. It doesn't matter. It always works.
Yeah. That's love it too, Margie.
That's the beauty of it. It always works. Perfection is not an issue here. It always works. Me too, Margie. Love this project.
I even made a little one.
Oh, cool.
I mean,
we like tinies.
You could fold the papers any way you want.
Once you've got a base for a template, just let your mind go crazy with all the different ways you could change or add to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yes. Margie will try a tiny one. I love that. I hope you do, Margie. Tiny would be great. Okay, so I've got them all folded. Now let me cut them. Julie, my shoulder is doing great. It's healing extremely well. I see the doctor for my first follow-up after surgery tomorrow. And I am using that hand or arm a little more than I probably should today. So it's feeling a little tired right now. Just the muscles are feeling a little tired, but it's doing fantastic. Everything about the surgery has gone better than expected. I'm just really happy, really pleased with it. In fact, I'm going to tease the doctor that I don't think he actually replaced my shoulder, because there is no bruising. There is literally no bruising on my shoulder, my arm. And even when we did the repair on that shoulder 2 years ago, just to buy a couple of years before we had to do the shoulder replacement, it was bruised up and down all the way for, several weeks. And there is no bruising on it. So I'm going to tease him. I don't think you really did a shoulder replacement. You just cut me open, sewed me back up, because there's no bruising. But it is going very well. Thank you for asking. It's coping quite well, although it's very anxious to get out of this sling and be able to start creating again, do some artsy things. I'm really dying to do some gel printing, and I need 2 hands to do that, I think. At least to do it a little less sloppy than would be. It'd be sloppier than normal. I'm already sloppy doing it, but I don't need to get any more
I love
sloppy.
that picture, Sylvia.
Which one?
The horses.
Oh, that's mine.
Oh, that's yours? I thought it was. Sorry.
That's cool, isn't it? I thought
Confused me with what I already have, Sarah.
Sorry,
really
that one. I got you confused. Sorry.
That's okay. The pictures are small. I was going to put it on the back because it's all the people, but as I fold it, I'm thinking that the horses just are right there. I might fold it the other direction. You don't really see a lot there. I think if I fold it this way, you can see those cool horses. It does look neat, huh?
It does. It looks great.
Do horses go with the the lighthouses? And then
Horses
this one,
go with anything.
and that one has all the people, either that or football. And then this look how big that big one is. It's huge. That's going to be a fun folio, though. That'd be like using a number 10 envelope, and then some. I could probably fold that up a little bit more, but I just love the colors on this. It's so pretty. I'll do that. Let's see if I can fold it up just a little bit more. There we go. And you can decorate these with other paper and stickers and things without having to completely cover them.
Yeah, you don't have to cover it at all.
Not at all, or a little bit, or some. Maybe you like one of the pages, but you don't really like the others. It's yours. Again, just a template base that you can then do whatever you want with. And now that you know how it works, think how quickly and easily you could throw these together. You could even throw a few templates together. So then one day when you just feel like decorating, you could just sit down with pretty paper, pretty embellishments, and decorate them and not have to make your bases. Bases are all good to go. Thank you, Sarah, so much for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We love having you. It's
Okay, I just did it with envelopes.
Oh, cool. See how quick and easy that was? As soon as you know what you're doing.
Now that I see Sarah's method, I get it. You just tuck an envelope into that and the other one so it flaps. And there you go.
Once you've got a basic template. Yeah. Love that. So you could use colored envelopes. And then if you glue paper on top of it or other embellishments, you can leave a border around it so that you see the pretty paper as the base. Right. You could You could use
Right.
white envelopes and do the same, or cover the whole thing. You could mix and match different colors of envelopes. You could mix a magazine page like this with envelopes.
Got
If
it.
you want- let's see.
Well, see, now I put another envelope on the outside, so it's going to be,
Sweet.
that's the flapper that can be covered.
Yep.
This is the page and an
Perfect.
envelope and
Yep.
another envelope.
Mm-hmm.
And then this can go back this way, and there's another, the
Perfect.
back envelope.
And if you want to
Yep.
put that little flap down on one side or the other, it becomes a tuck spot or a small
And tuck
pocket,
it. Yep.
a short pocket.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And just like
Thank
that,
you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
yes.
You're welcome.
Look at that, Sylvia. We spent an hour and a half making the template, and then in 10 minutes, you whipped up a whole brand new one with envelopes.
Because I'd rather not have, I got plenty of envelopes.
Yeah, but I love that. It's just
I
proves
enjoy
that
the envelopes myself.
once you learn the basic
Yes.
template, how quickly you can make them. I love that. You just proved it.
Thank you. Yes.
No, thank you.
And then this is the back. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I'm gonna cut that.
Okay,
down.
Rhonda, I don't have to go back to school. I'm good. I can continue to be a dropout.
Continue being a dropout. High school dropout.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Oh, how pretty on the flap. There's a lighthouse there too, although it might end up getting covered, huh? Oh, but I could offset this, huh? Sarah said this doesn't have to be in the middle. I could do this to the side, and then when I glue that down, all the people and the lighthouse, but I don't have to cover that lighthouse. You can glue it up the top. Now, here's another thing. If you do a great big page like this, then the next one inside, I could do a little smaller page than this, or even fold it in farther to make it smaller and put two side by side. There's another variation. Put two of these side by side, two of the small ones side by side, attached to the top flap there. So it all depends on how big the first one is that you start with. I have leather pieces that could be a cover for some. Awesome. Sylvia Rhonda says A+++.
Oh, I love a teacher that grades on the curve.
Right? You are the curve. Margie says, thank you, Sarah, for this awesome idea.
Yes. I'm now I can get rid of all of these envelopes.
Exactly.
Vacation theme. Yeah, love that, Rhonda.
All we need is that
calendar.
rack list. All we
Yes,
need is that rack list up again, and I'm going to be
Old
sending out some stuff.
calendars. Well, we'll talk to Jen about that. Old calendars would be great to use for these, Margie.
Yeah.
Yes, great idea.
Awesome sauce.
See?
And I was against the Folios for the longest time, but thank you.
Oh my goodness!
changed my
Every time I talk to Sylvia, she's like, "What is with these darn folios? What is a folio, and what am I supposed to do with it?" And then, and I'm not kidding there. I'm not exaggerating, am I, Sylvia?
No, I was frustrated. I didn't understand.
Well, and for a long time, I didn't understand the difference between folios and journals, or why are they calling this a folio? I don't know. So, and then one day it all clicked for Sylvia, and she sat down and made a folio, and she messages me and said, I made a folio. And I'm like, what? What?
Well, because I have seen Sarah and so many that have had successes with them.
Well, because Sarah's making a folio every day, and I love to post them.
Not quite every day.
Pretty darn close. Don't stop.
Pretty darn close.
Please post.
Yes, please. You don't know. It gives us such awesome ideas and jump offs and what we can do and how we can share, and please.
Inspiration. It's making me wait. Yes, we love inspiration. We love the creativity. Every idea or creative make that anybody makes and shares is going to trigger something for somebody. So just know that by posting it, you're helping somebody go, oh, I can do that if they didn't think that they could do something else. Or, oh, that gives me an idea to
exactly
do my way. And that's exactly what we want to do. It's not stealing from each other. It's encouraging and motivating and inspiring each other to jump in and try stuff.
right.
At Happy Paper People, we are all about community, collaboration, not competition. Everybody it does wonderful work. Everybody's is a little bit different because we are all different, and we celebrate that. Because how boring would life be if we all saw everything the exact same way?
Exactly.
That would be quite boring.
That would be very boring. So, and even if I see something that somebody makes and it's not my style, I can still go, wow, and I can appreciate what they've done and how they've done it, even if it's not the style that I would put up in my house. That it's just not an issue. You know, we don't all have to have the same style to appreciate the artistry and the creation, and it might give you an idea to do something in your style. So yeah, guys, let's quit being afraid to try things. Let's go back to getting curious and have the courage to try something. And remember that it's only paper. And if you don't like it, you can glue something else over it. You can throw it away if you must. But just have the courage to try something. Be a little curious as to what will happen if I do this. What would happen if I do that? Let's try things. Let's play. Let us play.
Take a note from Rhonda. I mean, she works with children. The children are constantly so not afraid to say, look, I made this. And we don't see what they see, but we don't discourage them and say, wow, Timmy, that really does not look great.
No, we want them to explore their creativity. Okay.
Yep. Cover. See? Yeah.
Sounded like chickens.
So next week is DM going to go over Zentangle?
Nope. Next week is DM showing ways that you can embellish a 3-hole pamphlet stitch to turn it into something amazing. You might think the 3-hole pamphlet stitch is pretty boring, but maybe you don't feel up to doing something a little more involved, or maybe that's just the first stitch that you've learned so far. She's going to show ideas of how you can take that and turn it into something that nobody will look at and go, oh, that's just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It will be amazing. So there's a lot of things you can do with them, and she's going to share some fantastic ideas.
No, Dawn Marie is amazing too. Just like Sarah, just like Glennis, just like Margie.
All happy paper.
All of us.
All here. Everybody. And you know what? Everybody is, I heard somebody say, you don't have to have talent to do this. You just have to have courage. And I told Sylvia that, and she said, but that's not true because everybody has talent. And I thought, you know what? She's right. So maybe I would say then you don't have to recognize your talent. You don't have to think you have talent. You really don't. Don't worry about the talent. All the things that we learn from each other, all you need is a little curiosity and a little courage to try.
That's it.
And that's,
we have enough paper. We all have enough paper.
Plenty of paper, and it's only paper. Guys, we keep it a private group so that we can try things, so we can post things and know that it's a safe place to get ideas.
No one's going to criticize or laugh or judge.
No, there's never been any of that. That's not the kind of people that are in Happy Paper People. Just plain isn't. And I love that. I love that about y'all.
Yep.
How did that one end up all big over there? That's a weird one. Let's see. All right, so if this is going to go in, whoops, it's got to go far enough out to fold, to close. That's stick out right there. I'm going to put this all the way down to the bottom.
It's so crazy that I keep hearing a sewing machine.
I hear what you're hearing, and I'm not sure. It might be a background fan.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I do hear what you're hearing. I know what you're talking about. Okay. Let's see if I go. So, yeah, don't miss next Monday. And pretty soon, coming soon to you, coming soon to an HPP channel near you, which is this one.
Channel,
thank you. Thank you. Coming soon to the HPP channel near you, the one that we are on right now. We are going to have some events that are not only on Mondays. We used to do a lot of other days and times. And when we do sales, they are other days and times. And it's just been a little bit of a busy time with retreat and with surgery and things like that. But we're going to get some evening events in so that people who are not available during the day, or maybe it's just a little more convenient in the evening, or want to do something other than just a Monday jump start, we'll have some evenings. We are also going to try something new that we've been asked about. I've been asked about for off and on, I would say off and on for several years, but it's not really a consistent thing. It's just off and on. I hear, especially when I have different people on with me and we try different things, because, you know, we like to do the experimentation right in front of you so that you can see what works, what doesn't work. We don't work it out and then come show you only the perfection at the end. We do.
No, you saw me struggle.
I like doing experimentation so that you see it doesn't always work out perfectly for everybody else.
Exactly.
And one of my absolute favorite things to do with art supplies is experiment. And so what I've heard off and on a lot is love to be a fly on the wall, you know, when you're doing this or when you're doing that, and just watch. So we are going to try something new where we will go live and have different people with me, depending on who wants to experiment with whatever I'm going to be experimenting with that day. And I'm just going to go live and experiment, because I find the best things if I just sit down and play, just experiment with alcohol inks. What can I do with these? What happens if I do that? What happens if I use it on this? What about that? And it won't be a tutorial. It won't be a lot of telling you how to and what to, because I don't know. I'm just going to sit down and experiment, and you can watch the experiment all the way through and see what happens. You might, you know, grab your crocheting and sit down with us and chat with others and watch what's going on. And as somebody else who wants to experiment with alcohol ink can be on with me. And so you see different perspectives of what we're trying. But there's so many ideas going around in my head and in my books, like to experiment with alcohol ink, to experiment with the gel plates. So many things I want to try on the gel plates. With other things, I hate to say, I have found supplies as I did this major organization in June that I have never opened and used, that I don't really know how. They just look cool. So I want to grab them, open them, experiment with them, play with them, see what they are, see what they do, try things out, find out, you know, what works, what doesn't work, what happens if. It's that curiosity. The very funnest part of art, I think, is the curiosity. Just jumping in feet first and trying whatever because it's okay. And we're just curious. So we're going to try some of those days where we're just experimenting. And if you want to join in and watch, if you want to experiment with us, I think that's awesome, because you can try things at the same time. We'll be doing some of those. So I'm excited for those things coming up. And I hope you are too and want to join in with us. Look how cool this one turned out. Look at that lighthouse. I love the colors of that one still.
But it's going to be sideways unless you.
Yeah, but it's still pretty color. Actually, now it looks like a roller coaster.
It does. Yeah.
It looks like a roller coaster.
So I made
Okay.
a tag. I added an extra envelope on the back.
Oh,
And I folded over a thing and I made a tag for the
that is a
or I made a long
closer.
thing. So that holds that in,
I like it.
holds it together. And then you can unflip this and then open that up. This was added onto the back of this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all
Cool.
I need to cover that.
Oh, I like
But
that.
then this is ready to be.
Ready to go, and the colors are gorgeous.
Yep.
I love that. And the idea of the tag on the side all the way around it, that's really cool.
So you just put it like that and it's done.
Wow. Wow. Everybody else busy making even more? Rhonda and Christy.
I just covered my outside of the
Oh,
envelope.
that's pretty.
Just
That's
paper.
very pretty. Yeah, that's
Just
very pretty though. Just paper, but pretty paper. We love pretty paper. And look at this. All three of the ones I've done are different sizes. And so now when I said it doesn't matter what size it is, you see that it really doesn't matter. You know, you can start with a small piece and end up with a really small one. Make a teeny tiny one. Can't wait to see Margie's teeny tiny one. You can make a great big giant one. It is totally up to you. How big your paper is and how deep you fold it to make those original folds. So awesome sauce. Thank you for joining us today. Sarah, thank you so much for sharing all the folios that you've made that are so, so pretty.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
love seeing those when you post them because they're always so pretty. You do such a beautiful job. We appreciate
And now we know your secrets. Now we know your secrets.
That's
Which is
good. You can
exactly
play some more, Sylvia.
Yeah, it's exactly what
Yes.
we're all about is sharing our secrets.
I won't complain anymore, Sarah.
Sylvia now has a newfound love of folios.
Yes, I
And
do.
tons of ideas running around her head now of how to use them.
Yes.
So yes,
And I love
definitely
the idea of putting pictures in them.
I do
Yes.
too. Definitely
Yeah.
post the ones that you've made today and any that you go ahead and make after this. Now that you've got all kinds of ideas of how to do them, how to add to them, how to embellish, go ahead and post those pictures in the group. Can't wait to see them. Be sure to use the hashtag HPPJULHOW. How? Because the month of July is all about how. We started out with Sylvia and how I keep a daily journal, and Sarah's how I make folios, and then next week is DM's how I embellish a three-hole pamphlet stitch, and we still have another how-to for the 4th week. But this is all about how, new ideas of how to do things. So hashtag HPPJULHOW. Don't forget to get your hashtags in there. It's always a good idea. So when I pull hashtags, your photos come up and we see your posts in the group. You don't want to miss out because you forgot to put hashtags. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. DM and Sylvia, appreciate your willingness to try this along with Sarah. I know, Sylvia, and it turned out great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, again for sharing with us all your wonderful ideas. And everybody, I can tell, is very excited to have a new folio template that they can take off and run with. Can't wait to see the posts in the group that y'all put. Have a wonderful Monday afternoon. And keep an eye out for other things that we will post that we'll be doing lives or experiment days, things like that. Okay? Love y'all.
Bye, everyone.
And don't forget to be curious. That's our motto. Be curious.
Be curious. Yes.
Be curious. See y'all soon. Bye-bye.